There's an app in Iceland that asks just one question. Are you two by any chance related? And people open it before going on a date. This isn't a joke or the plot of some comedy. It's a real tool in a country where almost everyone is some distant cousin of everyone else. The nation is so small and so old that the question, wait, are we second cousins, is asked in complete seriousness. And that's only the first strange thing I brought back from there. The guidebooks won't tell you about this. They're all waterfalls, geysers, sheep, and the northern lights. But how families, names, love, and daily life actually work here. Locals stay quiet about that. Not because they're ashamed, it's just normal to them, so normal they don't even notice it. Hold on to this detail. In a country with fewer people than a single neighborhood of New York, relationships run on rules that would make your head spin. I spent time there, went where tourists never reach. Let me walk you through it. Let's start with that app. It really exists, and it's built on a database called Íslendingabók, the Book of Icelanders. It's a massive family tree of the entire nation going back 1,000 years. Almost every single person in the country can tap a screen and trace exactly who they descend from, generation by generation. Using that database, some students once built an app with a feature locals nicknamed this: bump phones before you bump anything else. The idea is simple. Two people tap their phones together and the app tells them how closely they're related. Funny, half funny. When the entire nation is one big sprawling family, the joke about kissing cousins stops being only a joke. Icelanders laugh at it themselves, but they use the database in dead earnest. So here's your first contrast, where we ask, what's your name? When we meet someone, they sometimes care more about something else. Whose are you? And speaking of names, hold on tight, because Icelanders barely have surnames. At all. Instead, they have patronymics. Your father's name is Jon, then the son becomes Jonsson, son of Jon, and the daughter becomes Jonsdóttir, daughter of Jon. Now think about what that means in practice. A husband and wife carry different last names. Their kids carry a third and a fourth. A family of 4 can have 4 different endings, and that's completely normal. A woman doesn't change anything when she marries, there's simply nothing to change, because the husband has no family name either. The whole concept of carrying on the family name doesn't exist. You can't take your husband's name, because there is no name to take. There's only your link to your father and sometimes your mother. In the phone book, people are listed by first name. Picture an entire country where calling someone by their last name is meaningless. This isn't a quirk or a trend, it's an ancient Norse tradition that the rest of Scandinavia threw out long ago, and Iceland kept. And it explains what comes next. Because a country where a woman never had a husband's name to begin with sees the whole idea of independence differently. Iceland has sat at the very top of the world's gender equality rankings for years. And it's not about slogans, it's about everyday life. Here a woman comfortably asks someone out first. The check at a cafe gets split down the middle and nobody feels slighted. A woman has her own work, her own life, and a partner who supports that rather than grits his teeth and tolerates it. Where did this come from? Here's a detail you don't catch right away. For centuries, the men went out to sea to fish, sometimes for weeks at a stretch. And all that time, the household, the farm, the kids, the money, the decisions, all of it rested on the women. They got used to running things, not waiting for permission. That toughness is woven so deep into the culture that a modern Icelandic woman doesn't fight to win her independence. She's simply born into it. And here's the third detail that makes a visitor's eyes go wide. In Iceland, a huge share of children are born outside of marriage, and it carries absolutely no shame. A couple can live together for years, have 2 or 3 kids, build a house, and never once make it to a wedding, because a marriage certificate doesn't prove love or seriousness here. The grandparents don't pressure anyone, the neighbours don't whisper. A family is people who live together and raise children, not a line on a document. Weddings happen too, of course. It's just that the couple often gets married once their own kids are already running around and old enough to carry the rings up the aisle themselves. To us, that flips everything upside down. First love, then children, and the wedding whenever and if ever you feel like it. To them, it's just common sense. Hit like if you didn't know any of this. It helps more people discover this strange and wonderful country. And I'm moving on, because I saved the best part for last. Now, how do people actually meet here? On weekends, Reykjavik turns into one big churning organism. It even has a name, the Runter, roughly the round of the town. People drift from bar to bar almost until morning with no plan at all, flowing from one group to the next like water. And there's none of the coyness, none of the long drawn-out games we're so used to. Icelanders are direct. If there's a spark, they say so. They don't circle each other for weeks or play guessing games. That's where the half-joking legend comes from, that here people sometimes meet first and find out each other's names later. An exaggeration, sure, a piece of folklore Icelanders happily tell about themselves. But there's a grain of truth in it. The culture is open, with no double standards, no playing hard to get, no endless what will people think. Let them think. The country is tiny. Everyone's one of their own. And that very closeness breeds another phenomenon. In Iceland, it's nearly impossible to hide. You can run into a celebrity at an ordinary public pool, and this is where it gets interesting. Because the pools here aren't about exercise. They're the beating heart of social life. Not the bars, the geothermal pools out in the open air, where the water is heated by the earth itself. People come after work and early in the morning with their families and alone. Here, in the hot water, under the steam rising into the freezing air, they discuss everything, from politics to who just broke up with whom. It's the Icelandic version of sitting around the kitchen table, except it's outdoors in a swimsuit, with the air above the water below zero. And people meet here too. None of the pomp of expensive venues, just people in the water, talking honestly, because somehow you don't feel much like lying in a hot spring. Want to understand Icelanders? Forget the restaurants. Go to the pool. And here's a detail that'll change how you see everything else. In Icelandic towns, you'll see baby strollers parked right out on the street outside a cafe, with infants inside. The mother sits at a table drinking her coffee, while the baby sleeps outside in the fresh, frosty air. And it's not neglect, it's tradition. Scandinavians believe sleeping in the cold is healthier for the child. And trust in society runs so deep that it never even crosses anyone's mind that something could happen to the stroller. Sit with that. An entire culture where a baby is calmly left alone on the street, and it just sleeps there. Where we come from, you'd be condemned within seconds. There, it's normal. And that same atmosphere of safety gives women that same freedom. You can walk at night, you can live alone, you can raise a child without that constant background fear. A country where nothing feels dangerous shapes a completely different kind of person. Add one more word to all of this. Icelanders have a concept we simply don't have, Veta Redast, pronounced roughly Veta Redast. It translates to, it'll all work out somehow. It's the unspoken motto of the entire nation. Don't panic. Don't plan 100 steps ahead. Just trust that life will sort itself out. And this calm fatalism soaks into everything, love included. Nobody here smothers a partner with control and jealousy. It worked out? Wonderful. It didn't. Also, not the end of the world, Red asked. Relationships get lighter because of it. Without that strain we sometimes mistake for real passion. And how could it be otherwise when you live on an island in the middle of the North Atlantic, where the weather changes 5 times an hour and active volcanoes doze beneath your feet? You can't help but learn to let go of what isn't yours to control. And now we reach the heart of it. The thing this was all building toward, put it all together now. A country where a woman never had a husband's name, where for centuries she ran the entire household while he was out at sea, where you can have children and never marry, and no one says a word, where people meet in hot springs and leave an infant to sleep on a winter street, where the national motto is it'll all work out. What do you get when you add it all up? A culture where a woman is free from the start. She doesn't fight to win her freedom, she owns it from birth, like air. And the men here don't see that as a threat. They're around not because the woman would fall apart without them, but because they simply feel good together. That kind of bond between two self-sufficient people, where neither holds power over the other, is, perhaps, the real Icelandic secret. The one the guidebooks stay silent about, not perfect of course. Iceland has its share of fights, divorces, and its own wounds like everywhere. But the foundation is different. And once you understand that, you stop laughing at the app people use to check for shared blood before a date. In a country built on trust, openness, and equality, even that strangeness suddenly makes sense. It isn't backwardness. It's that same Icelandic honesty. Better to know right away who's standing in front of you than to build illusions later. There are dozens more countries ahead, each with secrets the locals keep to themselves. Subscribe, and next time I'll take you somewhere brides were once chosen by how well they could sing, and people married someone they'd never laid eyes on until the wedding itself. Trust me, that's one you'll want to hear. And for now, answer me honestly, write in the comments, where should I go next? And what gripped you most about Iceland? The app that screens for relatives, the names without surnames, or the babies sleeping out on a freezing street? Write it down. I really want to know what got under your skin.